Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So the topic for today, you already know by the title. Yes, it's regarding the launch of the all-new Daytona 765 Moto 2 Limited Edition. I had received a couple of requests from you folks to make a video on this topic, the launch of the new Daytona 765, but I gotta tell you, I already had plans on making a video on this particular topic because it's one of my favorites. I can talk about a Daytona all day long, but I'll try to keep it simple. So it's back in 2017 that Triumph pulled the plug off the Daytona, so it's been 2 years now since the whole world has not seen a brand new showroom Daytona. So now they have launched this particular model, but this is not a full-scale production model. This is a limited edition. At first even I was pretty confused. There were only 765 bikes for the whole world, but that's not the case. So what Triumph has done is they've made 765 bikes for America and 765 bikes for Europe and rest of the countries. So that's total 1530 bikes in total. So there are total of 1530 Daytona 765s for the whole world. Now where do I begin? Where do I start talking about this bike? I think I should keep it straight to the point. So I'll just talk about the main things, main changes that they have made and the new stuff they have introduced in the 765 compared to the old Daytona 675 and 675R, my bike. So before I even begin, I would like to thank the entire team behind this particular project, especially the chief engineer at Triumph, the guy called Stuart Wood. So he's the chief engineer behind this project, the Daytona 765 or the Moto 2 engine project. Kudos to the whole team, you guys have done a great job. So guys, quick list of things what the new 765 has over my Daytona 675R. So the things that the new Moto 2 765 has received are mainly a full carbon fiber body. So like you know, there are carbon fiber instills like in the cockpit and the front mudguard, rear tire hugger in my 675R. But the new 765 gets the whole fairing in carbon fiber. So that's a lot of weight saving. That is the most visible change that the 765 has over the 675. But it's still the same design, same body frame, same chassis. There is no change in the design, guys. So if my 675R is to be stickered well like a carbon fiber sticker, so it looks exactly like the 765. So design wise there is no change, and also the body frame and the swing arm are not powder coated. That means they're not painted, rather they are anodized, and I don't know what they call it exactly. They say it's anodized, so it's not powder coated. They are trying to save some weight from the paint. Also the 765 gets Brembo Stylema monoblock caliper setup. So it's the new design, guys. Basically it's the same brake with the new tech. So the looks are different. It's called the Brembo Stylema brakes. It's the latest in their lineup. Again, the suspension setup is the same, front and rear fully adjustable all-in suspension, similar ones that you saw on my 675R. And about the aero exhaust, of course, this is not underbelly type exhaust like mine has. It's side slung exhaust. It looks very impressive and it's a full titanium exhaust, guys. So these are all the cosmetic changes that the 765 has. Now coming to the technical part, of course the heart itself is different. It's not a 675, it's 765. So my Daytona is 675cc inline 3. So this one is a 765cc inline 3. So that's 90cc more than the 675. What does that give you? Of course few more horsepower and torque. So the 765 limited edition Daytona now produces 130 horsepower and 80 Newton meters of torque. Mine, the Eurospec Daytona 675R, produces 126 horsepower and 74 Nm of torque. There is not too much difference, but the chief engineer Stuart Wood says there is 20% more pull, more torque in all the given RPM, like in low and mid range. So 20% is a lot, guys. If you've ridden a Daytona, it pulls like crazy, and 20% more to it is like insane. Of course, you guys might be thinking 70cc is more, it's a 765cc bike and still produces 130 horsepower. Well, even I was pretty confused when I heard at the beginning that it makes about 130 horsepower, though it's a 765. That's mainly because of the Euro spec norms, guys. They have to meet the Euro spec regulations, and using the aero exhaust, they are still able to meet the legal requirements to get a A2 license or something for this bike. So that is the reason the Moto 2 engine straight from the track is detuned to make 130 horsepower to suit the catalytic converter and the road legal requirements. But there's nothing much that can be done, is there? Because this is an inline 3. So if you know the difference between inline 4 and 3, inline 4s always make more power. So if you take the ZX6R for example, though it's a 636cc engine, it's inline 4 and it makes 130 horsepower, and with ram air intake it makes 136 horsepower. So that's mainly because of the one cylinder extra advantage. But mind you, inline 4s take time to generate their peak power. Inline 3s, they generate it way early. So that is why Daytonas are quicker. Of course, inline 4s are faster on the top speed, but inline 3s are quicker when it comes to acceleration. Because their power lies at the low end and mid-range torque rather than completely on the top side. So I think it's still fine. The Moto 2 Daytona makes 130 horsepower and 80 Newton meters of torque. That's still an impressive number. But the main change, main technical feature here is the addition of RightByWire technology. So when you add RightByWire to any bike, you unlock a whole lot of features because you are giving the ECU that additional control over the engine, over the throttle body. So if you guys didn't know what RightByWire is, so my bike, the Daytona 675R, it's old school, so it's very raw. It does not have power modes, it does not have traction control, it does not have the auto blibber or the clutchless downshifts. But the 765 gets all of those. Why? Because of the addition of RightByWire. So there is a sensor near the throttle and there's a servo motor near the throttle body at the engine. So you're just sending signals to the ECU. ECU then actuates the throttle bodies through the servo. So on the 765, now that it has RightByWire throttle, it has power modes, 5 levels of riding modes, be it rain, road, track and custom. Like you can set your own settings to match your riding style, and it gets traction control like I said, and the auto blibber, guys. So the 675R has only clutchless upshifts, but the new Daytona 765 has clutchless upshifts as well as downshifts because of the auto blibber. That's because of the RightByWire technology. So overall it's a pretty impressive bike, guys. They've given all the modern tech to the Daytona and made it a modern, much more advanced Daytona. Also, I'd almost forgot to include this in the cosmetic changes that the 765 has received. Yes, the analog digital combination speedometer is gone now. It's completely digital, like you see. So me being a 90s kid, I would always prefer analog and digital combo. You know, like on my Daytona, I want to see that needle go all the way up and those rev lights starts blinking. It's next level fun, guys. But I think we are missing that on the new 765 because it's completely digital. So to sum up everything, they've just taken the old Daytona, gave it a bigger heart and gave it all the modern tech to make it a smarter, next generation, next level Daytona actually. So what I would say to Triumph from my perspective is that please do not end the Daytona here. So I've seen in a couple of videos, Stotwood, he says this is the last of the Daytonas, last variant of the Daytona. It's so sad to hear that. Please make a full-scale production model of the 765 bikes for the entire world and not just limit it like you've done to the current 765 Moto 2 limited edition, only 1530 bikes for the whole world. I understand probably you guys might want to study how the market is and whether people are actually gonna buy a Daytona like the way they speak about it. That's always there, of course, but I would like to see a full-scale production model of this 765 Daytona available for the whole world. But for now, let's hope that all the 1530 bikes reach their owners and Triumph may succeed with this 765 limited Daytona. So I think that's about it, guys. Hope now you know the difference between the old 675R and the new 765 Daytona. They're not the same bikes. Please don't get confused. They might look the same, but they are entirely different things altogether. So in case you guys want to know anything specific about the 765 Daytona, please let me know in the comment section below. I'll reply it. So before I end this video, I would like to give credits to MCN because that's where I took the video of the 765 Daytona that you saw in this video. Obviously, I'm some guy sitting in Bangalore, India. It's highly unlikely that I visit UK and talk to Stotwood about the 765 and make a video on the 765. So I had to do this. So before we end this video, please hear the exhaust note. Again, it's from the MCN video. I'll leave a link in the description for the original video that I've used in this video. So let's hear the Daytona 765, and that's it. I'll see you soon. Peace.